A United Nations inquiry into human rights abuses says North Koreans have suffered unspeakable atrocities. The UN Commission says there is widespread repression and torture in the secretive state, amounting to crimes against humanity. Pyongyang totally rejects the findings and describes the inquiry as part of a political plot. We're going to go straight now to Geneva. There you can see Michael Kirby and hear him giving a press conference on the details of the report. Now, Michael Kirby is the author of the report, the chairman of the UN Commission into this inquiry.
Which has been produced by the Commission. It's a unanimous report. It's a report which speaks of the great wrongs that have been done to the people of North Korea and which calls for attention from the international community. Often during the course of this inquiry, I have been asked by people who are concerned about the situation in North Korea, well, can you expect anything to be done? Can you really expect that anything will change, that North Korea will change, or that the international community will pick up the call for action? Well, I do expect that the report will galvanise action on the part of the international community. And one reason for optimism is the fact that the mandate that was given to the Commission of Inquiry was not confined to simply collecting the testimony, but it directed our attention specifically to the issue of whether or not violations of international human rights law had been established and whether or not crimes against humanity had been established. What are crimes against humanity? Crimes against humanity are the product of the great anxiety that befell the world after the Second World War, when terrible wrongs were done to civilian populations in an organised and orchestrated way, with violence against citizens and deliberately and as a state action. These are not the occasional wrongs that can be done by officials everywhere in the world. These are wrongs against humanity. They are wrongs that shock the conscience of humanity. Now, the Commission of Inquiry has unanimously come to the conclusion that there is abundant evidence of great wrongs of this kind. The evidence includes the testimony that relates to the prison camps. North Korea says there are no such prison camps, the so-called prison camps. However, satellite images show the prison camps, and we had testimony which is quoted in the report which tells the stories of the prison camps, of the starvation, of the great famine, and of the deployment of inadequate resources, of the refusal to support the endeavours of the international community under normal rules to provide food for the population, of the babies who are born stunted and who remain stunted, which is going to be a terrible blight on the public health of that part of the Korean Peninsula in the years to come, of the abductions, of the public executions, and of the fact that many people simply disappear. They disappear either into the prison camps or into public executions or private and secret executions. So these are the matters that are recounted in the report of the Commission of Inquiry. But there is more. The Commission of Inquiry was asked to report to the Human Rights Council, as it will do in a month's time on the 17th of March, about whether there could be accountability for these wrongs. How can we render those who are guilty of the wrongs that are shown in this report, how can we render them accountable to their own people, accountable to the victims, accountable to their neighbours, accountable to the international community, and accountable before the bar of history? How can we translate the findings into accountability? And because that was part of our mandate and it required us to report on it, that is what we have done. And we expect, and we certainly hope, that the international community will respond. It's the combination of the detailed testimony that is in the report with the international law and the institutions that exist in our world today that will, we hope, render those accountable. Now, who are accountable for crimes against humanity? Those who are guilty of the crimes are accountable, or those who are in positions of authority and who either take part in the crimes, authorise the crimes, or look the other way when the crimes have occurred. And it's because in the organisation of North Korea that all lines of authority stop at the Supreme Leader that the question was presented to the Commission of Inquiry as to whether the Supreme Leader of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, Kim Jong-un, would himself or may himself be responsible for the crimes against humanity which the Commission has found. I want to emphasise that the Commission is not a tribunal. It is not our function, nor have we presumed to judge the Supreme Leader of North Korea or any other officials of North Korea. Nor are we a prosecutorial agency. Prosecutors exist in various tribunals, national and international, and they have their functions. They have to filter and consider reports such as the report of the Commission of Inquiry. But our job was to assemble the material, to synthesise it, to analyse it, and to express conclusions and make findings about it. At the end of the Second World War, so many people said, if only we had known the wrongs that were done in the countries of the hostile forces. If only we had known that. Well, now the international community does know. The international community will know. There will be no excusing a failure of action because we didn't know. We do know. In the past, it has been the action of brave non-governmental organisations and other international bodies and national bodies and individuals who've spoken up about this. But now, under the mandate of the Human Rights Council of the United Nations of the world, it is the findings and conclusions of this body, the Commission of Inquiry of the United Nations.
There we're listening to Michael Kirby giving us the findings of a UN inquiry into human rights abuses in North Korea. The inquiry reported that there is abundant evidence that crimes against humanity have been committed in North Korea. And they'll be submitting this report to the UN Security Council on March the 17th. And Michael Kirby there was expecting, he said, an international response.